Hey, TCT family, I want you to stay tuned. I'm going to be talking to Dr. Tiffany Tyson about a youth and young adult inspirational company.
TCT presents Public Report, a look at the issues and events of importance to our viewing area. Now, here's your host.
Hello, everyone. I'm excited to be in your home today for another edition of Public Report. Thank you for viewing. I have today a very special guest, Dr. Tiffany Tyson, and at this time, let's welcome her. God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming and sharing with us, and we're excited to know more about this teen and young adult inspirational company that you've started called Tyson Multimedia. What is Tyson Multimedia?
Well, as you said, again, thank you for having me here today. Tyson Multimedia is an inspirational company for teens and young adults, and it discusses issues such as self-esteem, cultural awareness, substance abuse, and it also incorporates arts, language, literature, workshops, and music.
Okay. Now, why would you start a company like this?
Our teens today need an outlet to be able to express what's going on with them. They also need someone that they can actually talk to. Sometimes teens can't actually talk to their moms or their dads, and so they may look for mentors, and sometimes they turn towards peers. But I want this to be a place where they can come and actually talk to me and actually get out some of their frustrations as we're having these workshops and support sessions.
You know, and it's very important because a lot of teens, especially in this day and time now, are harboring things that most people would never think of. Teens are having suicidal thoughts, depression, peer pressure, all kinds of things. And I even look at my children, and I look at them and things that they're introduced now to. I didn't get introduced until, I was older. So it's just like things are, increasing. The pressure is increasing on them. And so it's wonderful that you have this passion to start something like this. How did the passion, start? How did it develop? What piqued your interest to do something like this?
Well, in undergrad, I majored in nursing, but I also minored in psychology. And sometimes you have those individuals that people kind of gravitate towards too, and so people would gravitate towards me and talk to me about their issues that they were dealing with. And so it's always been a passion for me just to help others and be supportive of what they're going through.
Absolutely. Now, and just not to get too personal, but has some of your personal endeavors or issues helped shape how you're helping individuals now?
I would say yes. Growing up, I was raised by my mom and grandparents. I didn't really have an active father, but I also had mentors or father figures in my life who were my mother's brothers. And so that's very important. And I always tell teens, regardless of where they come from or what's going on in their family situation, they can find mentors to help support them and encourage them and motivate them to succeed and follow their dreams. Absolutely.
And so now, essentially, as you've had that support growing up, you feel the mandate to support someone else.
Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, what current projects do you have going on now?
Well, I just finished completing a book signing event for my latest project.
Okay.
It's called Urban Princess, The Power of Choice, and don't let the name fool you. There are short stories in the book for young women and men as well, and after each short story, there are worksheet activities that they can do to help either boost their self-esteem or help them to identify when they're in a negative relationship. Because sometimes teens don't realize when they're in a negative relationship.
Right. And that's something that's extremely crucial, is to help someone identify, because sometimes when you're in something, you don't know how bad it is until you get out of something. I said something to one of my friends. I said it's amazing that a lot of people function in dysfunction. They don't know that what they're going through is so bad until they get out of it. How do you feel that this book is helping individuals?
Well, I think the unique thing about this book, it kind of goes to where the teens are, and the stories are relating to their real issues that they're dealing with. This is actually the second book. The first book is a teenage love story, so this is a spin-off from the first book. And again, after each short story, there are little activities that even discuss with you how to boost your self-esteem, how to get you to look at what are your positive attributes, you know, realize what their attributes are. Mm-hmm. And that they have so much to give back instead of, as we see in different videos or the media portrays, images sometimes of teens in negative images.
Absolutely. And so the endeavor behind this book, your goal behind this book is just to show them that they have great qualities.
Yes.
Okay.
To empower them.
Absolutely. Because, you know, I guess, you know, one of the things that I've learned is that an individual going through things, sometimes they can take the blame on themselves.
Yes.
And once you have low self-esteem, you're susceptible to anything anybody tells you. You find yourself doing things that, you know, you were taught not to do. And so that's phenomenal.
Thank you.
What the power of choice, the urban princess, what kind of inspired the title? Because I know you said, don't let the title fool you. There's more behind that. What inspired that?
Well, growing up, I always had an uncle that would always call me his urban princess, and so I kind of took that name and then incorporated it into the book. But as I said, anybody can be talking towards our females, anybody can be a princess. It doesn't matter, again, where you live or what side of the track you're from or who you're raised by. There's always a inner princess inside, and there's also a prince inside young men as well.
Absolutely. And so you've given us a little bit about your background and how, you know, you had support and things like that. Elaborate a little more. Tell us a little more about your background.
Also, I do practice psychiatry as well, okay. So I'm able to treat teens and adolescents as well as adults who are dealing with, sometimes our youth, when they suffer through self-esteem or bullying, they are susceptible to anxiety, depression, okay. And so I'm able to actually bring them into the office in the other realm and actually treat them with those issues, either through medication or either through therapy. Okay,
and that's great to know. And so, listening audience, if you're viewing this and you have a child or have a niece or nephew or know someone in your church who has a child that are having some issues, Dr. Tyson is here to assist, and their contact information will come across the screen, and we want you to contact her because she's here, and I can tell the passion behind her eyes, and this is just not something that was thought about overnight. This is something that was definitely meditated upon, and you were, you know, strategic in how you're going about it. So I pray much success.
Thank you.
I pray much success. And so with your background in psychiatry and treating depression and treating anxiety, how is this success rate? What are some of the success stories that you're seeing behind that?
I think if individuals can get into treatment early, mm-hmm. And it's not just sometimes dealing with the child or the adolescents, it's also dealing with social issues or economical issues, or the parents may be going through some things there themselves, and sometimes bringing the parents into the therapy session as well to incorporate them in part of the as part of the treatment as well.
Okay, and so with that, it's not because sometimes it's not solely the individual.
Yes.
It's things on around the individual, and then learning how to identify those things can help do that. That's wonderful. Now, what about sometimes environment? Does environment tend to play a role in that?
Environment plays a great deal. Researchers show that if you take one teen and they're in an environment where it's thriving, they have parental involvement, either helping them with their homework, or the family is able to sit down and have a meal and discuss how their child's day went, or they're participating in their extracurricular activities or their sports, mm-hmm. That child is usually more likely to thrive versus a child that does not have any interaction with their parents, or may not have someone to come home to and talk to them about how their day went, even Absolutely. At school.
Mm-hmm. And so what you're offering, what you're suggesting, you know, the first step is to really just kind of be that support system. You know, there's a parent watching right now, so you're telling them, be that support system. Take time, mm-hmm. Sit down, because I know a lot of single parents, it's difficult for them, especially when they're working. And, you know, sometimes, you know, the children, they're in and the parent is out, and when the parent is in, the children is out. Are you seeing a lot of things like that?
And then what I say too, if you are a single parent and you're kind of struggling with being active in your child's life, also pairing your child with a positive mentor can help as well. If you're not able to make it to every game or make it to every recital, it's important for your child to have a mentor as well.
Absolutely.
To be able to talk to.
Absolutely. And so what your company is existing to do is to provide solutions to problems like that, provide solutions to issues that you see arise like that.
Yes.
Okay. Now, my next question, I know it says teen and young adults. Let's kind of narrow that a little more, like the age group, because I mean, it could be 13 to 30, you know, 'cause somebody who's 60, they would consider a 30-year-old a young adult. So what kind of age range are you really dealing with there?
Well, this particular book, research has shown for some of the issues that are addressed in this book, domestic violence relationships start at age 11.
Wow.
And so, and usually 11 to 17, you're thinking about at 11 years old, you're dealing with, just trying to figure out who you are, you're trying to fit in with the crowd. And sometimes you'll go along with, your peers to do things just to make yourself fit in. As you said, you're more susceptible. And then as teens start to go off to college, if they're 17 or 18 or 19, sometimes they may be the first individual from their family going off to college, or this may be their first time away from home. So you're dealing with a lot of uncertainties, or again, trying to fit in. And so you may tend to either go along with the crowd to fit in. And then oftentimes, if you have a negative start as a child, some of these things can lead to adulthood as well. So our 20-year-olds or 30-year-olds, or I also see those in the office as well, because they may be dealing with some issues that happened in childhood. You could be a 40-year-old and still dealing with things that happened in your childhood that you haven't actually overcome yet.
Absolutely. And so, and as you kind of alluded to earlier, the earlier you can combat these issues, the more successful an individual can become.
Yes.
And a lot of college students, whether they have great parents or not, that's that time to explore.
Yes.
That's that time to get to, just like they say, spread your wings and fly.
Wings, yes.
How is that going? How are you seeing things as far as college students?
Well, again, sometimes with college students, they have their own. They're totally different from your adolescence. As you said, this is the time to explore. And again, they're away from home, and they're, trying to look at everything they can get into. But I think if you have a solid foundation, even with kids that are brought up the right way at home, or again, either have positive support systems in their life, they're going to be able to choose those right things. They may make a mistake, but sometimes you can't let your past dictate what your future is. So I want people to also know, if they've made a mistake, that they can change their life around. If they did something either negative in their high school years, or either had a child in college, you still can go back to school and finish your degree and finish what you started.
Absolutely, and that's phenomenal to know, because so many individuals feel as if because they made a mistake, as you said, and I tell people all the time, having a child that's not the mistake, that's the gift. Right. And with the God we serve, He's always able to make bad things turn out for our good.
Exactly.
And so the mistake was maybe you perhaps made a decision that you were not able to handle the consequence at the time. But you're saying that it's not the end,
right.
It's not over. Don't go off the deep end,
exactly.
Don't throw in the towel. You don't have to settle. And there's nothing wrong with the minimum wage job, but you don't have to settle for that if that's not your desire. And so I think that's phenomenal. That's awesome. What are some future endeavors that Tyson Multimedia has?
Well, there's a couple things coming up. I will be working with some schools to put together some events related to either back to school. There's also the upcoming empowerment workshop. We're in progress right now of location and putting that together as well. So those are some different things that are coming up.
Okay.
We just finished putting together actually a book trailer for the book. We utilized local actors and actresses from North Carolina as well as from Virginia. Actually participated in the making of the book trailer. Some people like to see things, in live and in motion.
Right.
Sometimes you don't have people that like to read and pick up a book. So the message is still portrayed in a live film.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about that, because that's unique, a book trailer. Were you the one that came up with the concept and the idea?
Yes, I did a book trailer for my first book, but I didn't use live actors and actresses. So this time I wanted to, as you say, up your game a little bit.
Right,
and,
right.
And incorporate live actors. It was really a fun day. I partnered with Brotherside Entertainment,
Okay.
and I was executive producer, and then we had the cinematographer and then the director, and we kind of helped put together a script to base off the book to portray the actual characters in the book, and it was really a fun day. The actors and actresses really enjoyed working on the project, and then I even had some of them to participate in the book signing event as well.
Okay.
And so it was just really phenomenal and fun event.
Okay, and now the trailer is on your website.
The trailer's on the website. It's also on YouTube, as well as my Facebook page as well.
Okay, and so viewers can go view the website. The information is on the screen right now. Go view the book trailer. And I'm sure it will persuade you to buy the book and do the activities in the book. Where can they purchase the book?
Currently, the book is available at Barnes & Nobles. It's
Okay.
available at Amazon.com. There's also a link on my website as well where they can purchase the book also. And coming soon, it will be available in ebooks as well.
Okay, awesome. That's phenomenal. Well, I'm glad to know that, because this is, again, something with everything that's going on with young people, from police issues, from school issues, from just sometimes social, personal issues. It's good to always have that type of, outlet. It's always good to have some type of help. So with that being said, are you experiencing teens and young adults who are, they may not be suicidal, they may not be depressed, they may not have anxiety, they're just confused, just don't know what decision to make, or what, where to go to school, or who to date, who to marry, things of that nature? Does your book address things like that?
Well, again, teen and young adolescent years are those years to, again, think about what you want to do. And yes, you may not, there's actually a section in the book where it talks about career choices, and the teen's able to actually list different things that they're passionate about, whether it's politics, whether it's fashion, whether it's finance. And so there's a list of things they can select, and then there's another part of the exercise where, well, how do I make this happen? What kind of jobs could I get if I'm interested in these particular areas? And then what type of school do I need, or what type of education do I need to pursue this career? And can I get an internship in this, or who do I contact? So there's also an exercise in the book about that, because again, you are dealing with a time in your life where you may not know what you want to do, or it may change. What your goals and your visions are at 12 are obviously going to be different than when you turn 16, and then even when you turn 25. Things that you valued at age 11 or 15 or 25 or even 40 change, and sometimes it changes due to circumstances, due to experiences that you've had through life, due to different people that you meet. And so your values and things change.
Absolutely, and I'm glad you said that, because when I was a child, my goal was to be a professional baseball player. And I'm a pastor now, so that that completely, I don't know how that happened. But so throughout life, as you said, changes will happen. And an individual will kind of view their life in a certain way and kind of peak. And I'm not sure, even with yourself, I'm not sure, as a young child, I'm not sure if you wanted to be a psychiatrist or not, or how did that come about?
Growing up, I knew I always wanted to do something in the medical field. I either volunteered in the hospital or nursing home. I always knew I wanted to help people.
Okay.
Yes.
And so there you had it. But you kind of had, the set, that you wanted to do it this way, and then you were able to pursue it.
Yes. Then I also knew I was passionate about the arts, whether it was music or drama or so those different pieces as well. So I wanted to do something where I can incorporate my love for music, art, and then writing also with what I do.
Absolutely. Now, with the arts, is that something that you use to, you know, like I guess as an alternative to help people cope with certain situations. Because I know I play a little bit, not much, just a little bit. And sometimes when I play, it's a stress reliever. And so is that how you're using the arts to help individuals?
It's used a couple of different ways. So there is music and art therapy. And when you're playing or drawing, it helps you get out different inner things that you're dealing with. And I always tell people to journal, also journaling their thoughts.
Absolutely.
Writing as well helps people, it helps you heal.
Absolutely.
And then it's very relaxing. So that is another way of incorporating a therapy, so to speak.
Absolutely.
And then I try to use art, music, and dance in the different workshops that I do as well.
Absolutely, and that's phenomenal, extremely important, because the more you do, the more you busy yourself. And I'm a firm believer, as I tell people in my congregation, is that number one, you don't want to be busy doing anything.
Right.
You certainly, there are underlying issues that you certainly want to deal with, because what some people will do is they won't deal with the issues. They'll just cover them up and be busy, then they'll have a conflict to arise and realize this issue kind of grew out of nowhere. So you're helping people to deal with the issue, and then also in dealing with the issue, you're helping them to busy themselves and to find out what their passion is and what their future is.
And then research has also shown when kids either do music or art or a sport, it actually helps them with problem solving, it helps them with communication, it helps grow their character as well. And usually kids that are active in extracurricular activities, their grades improve as well.
Absolutely, and that's something that's always helpful.
Yes, yes.
So again, I'm talking to Dr. Tyson, Dr. Tiffany Tyson, and we're here talking about her company, Tyson Multimedia, whose goal is to assist young people and to inspire young people to be the best young person that they can be, and really go throughout life and succeed in life. So if you have a child, if you have a teenager, if you're just now tuning in, you have a child, a teenager, a niece, nephew, you know someone who could use this great program, I want you to connect with her. Her information is going to flash across the screen, her address, her mailing address, her website, and she has a phenomenal book out now called Urban Princess, The Power of Choice. And again, in her words, I quote, "Don't let the title of the book fool you. There's more behind that title, dealing with men, dealing with young men, and dealing with young women." So we're excited about it, and I pray much success for the book.
Thank you.
I think it'll be something that I want to pick up, and just by talking to you about it, I want to pick it up and put it in some young person's hand, almost like the Purpose-Driven Life. That book changed my life. It was something that kind of set me, and I got the journal and I wrote down everything. Again, if for someone who's just tuning in, and to remind our viewers, what are your hopes and what are your goals behind releasing this book and pushing this book?
My goal behind this book and releasing this book is sort of the theme of my company, to enrich and empower individuals, young adults, teens as well, and just to show them that life is about the choices that you make, and even though you may have made some negative choices, you still can improve your life and pursue your dreams, whatever they are.
Absolutely. Overcome the adversity,
Yes.
Overcome the odds,
Yeah.
because we're more than conquerors.
Exactly.
And you're helping individuals do that. Sometimes people have it on the inside of them, and they just need someone to pull it out.
Exactly.
You know, sometimes people are so hurt, and sometimes I notice the people who are hurt the most are some of the nicest people. You know, some of the meanest people on the inside, they're some of the nicest people, and they just need someone to pull that out of them. Again, I want to read it myself. I'm not a teenager, but I want to read it myself and learn some more about it, because I think it's something that can impact our communities. And if you can just change one person, you've done a lot. How can people connect with you when you have future book signings? How can they find those book signings and find out where you're going to be?
Okay. Well, you can connect with me at my website, TysonMultimedia.com. You can also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube as well. And then there's also a phone number you can contact me at 252-481-4884. 281-4884. And stay tuned for different up-and-coming events on my website page.
Absolutely. Now, just a little more about the book. How long did it take you to come up with the concept and actually get it down on paper?
Wow, that's a very good question. I think for the last 2 years, I've thought about just in watching things and just talking to teens and some things that they've been dealing with. You kind of jot things along the way, and then, but the just putting it together, the whole concept really didn't take very long, because once I'm passionate about something, I'll sit down and I'll just write it out and keep working on it, and then a couple of months, you know, especially if I have the time allotted to do that.
Right,
yes.
right. So a lot of work went into it, and like you said, once you're passionate about something, you're going to go after it.
Exactly.
And so that's wonderful to know. So you said you were talking to people and you kind of jotted down things. Like how was that? Was it like a light bulb that went off, like, maybe I can use this later, or, you know?
Well, the book, again, is not just different things that you talk to people about, but also experiences that I've gone through.
Okay.
I remember what it was like growing up and experiencing in high school being popular and then not being popular.
Okay.
Or, you know, worried about, you know, what are my friends going to think about this outfit that I have on today?
Absolutely.
Or, you know, that person seems a little questionable. Maybe I shouldn't be dating that person. So also personal experiences that I've gone through as well.
Okay. So a mixture of personal experiences and I'm sure due to your integrity, not other people's experiences per se, but, you know, just sort of things you've thought along the way.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So again, people, check out Urban Princess, The Power of Choice. And this is something that is going to help our community, help our teens, help our young adults. We have about 1 minute left. Is there something you would like to tell the audience, tell a parent, to make them go purchase this book?
Okay. Again, this is a wonderful tool to use. It tells stories about what our teens are going through, and it puts it in sort of their language and what they'll be wanting to actually read. And after each short story are worksheet activities that you can either do with your teen, or the teen can do them alone. And again, the purpose is to enrich and empower and instill encouragement for some young teen or young adult.
Awesome. Again, we have spent time with Dr. Tiffany Tyson. And until next time, thank you for viewing the Public Report. Heaven smile upon you is my prayer.
This has been Public Report. Public Report discusses the issues of interest and importance to our viewing area. Please remember that the views expressed by our guests are their own and do not necessarily represent the views of TCT or the station.
Listen, I'm Pastor Nick, pastor of Resurrection of Goldsboro in the city of Goldsboro, North Carolina. Look, I know you see the number at the bottom of your screen. I need for you to go and sow into this wonderful ministry right now. As we're speaking, as I'm talking to you, make sure that you make it your business to sow into this wonderful, wonderful ministry and witness what God is doing in this season.